All right, let's bring in our panel of NewsNation political contributors now. Wright lectures at Princeton, but on this program, she lectures Democratic strategist Chris Hahn, who also joins us right now. It's good to see you both. Tennessee before affordability. Did we learn anything last night in Tennessee, Wright, or, forget moral victories? How do you see it?
Careful when you redistrict. I actually think that might be the biggest lesson. A lot of these redistricting efforts, which occur on both sides of the aisle, very, very cynically try to pick voters rather than convince voters. And people move around, opinions change, national politics is changing constantly. And it might be a careful what you wish for situation in a lot of these states and a lot of these districts. With that said, it was a healthy margin, and probably Republicans think it was worth it.
Right,
Democrats
I could see where they say
in other places.
Still won by 9, even though it won 15, 16 points to the left or whatever it was. So what about you, Chris? What's your take?
Well, first, the congressman was right in his analysis, and President Trump sounds like former President Biden when he talks about affordability being a scam. And it is going to be murder on the Republicans running for Congress if he doesn't change his tune really quick. Okay. A 13-point swing is scaring a lot of Republicans today. They're going to go home for Christmas break. They're going to sit down with their families, and they're going to determine if they're going to run or not next year. And for those of them that are in Trump 10 districts, they might want to stay home. If I'm Sherrod Brown today, thinking about my chances in Ohio, I'm feeling really good about what happened last night. I don't believe in moral victories. Van Epps won. He's a congressman. But when you look at that and you extrapolate it out, and I agree with Lauren 100%, these cynical redistrictings are going to backfire, especially given the rhetoric Donald Trump has had towards people in this country who have been moving towards him, Latinos, African-American men who are seeing who he's saying excluding from this country and wanting to bring in from other countries. They understand that very clearly. And I think that movement towards Trump is going to go running away from Republicans next year.
What about this Cuellar pardon today in the middle of everything else? Trump decides to pardon a Democratic congressman who's under indictment. He's from Texas. Obviously, he's always been a middle-of-the-road guy, but still a Democratic congressman. Our friend Julia Manchester, who covers the White House for The Hill, asked him about it in the Oval earlier, and here's how it went.
Mr. President, did you speak with House Republican leadership about your decision to pardon Congressman Henry Cuellar? And are you concerned that you made a vulnerable Democrat perhaps less vulnerable with that decision?
It didn't matter. He's a respected person. He was treated very badly because he said that people should not be allowed to pour into our country. And he was right.
What do you make of this one, Lauren?
Trump with a lot of things is actually not as partisan as we think he is. He's also not ideological all the time. He makes a lot of judgments based on his personal gut instincts, politically correct or not. And so if there's ever a big question mark looming over a decision he's made or is about to make, that's a pretty good bet. He's just going to base it on his personal assessment of the person, not, as Julia said, what his colleagues in Congress think.
Now, Cuellar, who, by the way, is going to be on with Leland tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on this network, says, Chris, he's still going to run as a Democrat. So it shouldn't, I guess, some people might have saw this and, boy, this could be like the guy Drew in New Jersey, and maybe he'll flip over to the Republicans, but he still says he's going to be a Dem, just won't be going to jail, I guess.
Look, Trump's use of the pardon pen the last couple of weeks have been raising eyebrows. This is bad. Pardoning a drug kingpin while he says he's going to war over drugs is worse. And I think that, again, it all adds up, right? I don't think any one thing Trump does is going to bring down the House, but people are starting to see it every single day. Another thing that Trump does that is just, scratching your head, what is in it for him is really what's going on here. And when I see Cuellar, I ask myself, what is in it for Trump, right? And what Trump needs to understand is Cuellar is also going to be self-interested. And let's say he does get elected as a Democrat, and Democrats take the majority by 15 seats. What difference does it make? So, he's not going to go with Trump. He's going to go with the party who's in power.
It is an interesting move. You know, a lot of people didn't see this one coming, but there's a bunch of stuff we don't see coming in this administration, in this political environment. What about all this stuff with Minnesota and the Somali community there that's been in the news lately? We've done some reporting on this, the fraud allegations, Governor Walz and what have you. But the language, Lauren, being used by the president when he speaks about the community there and then really going after the Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and he did that again today in the Oval. Here it is.
She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. The Somalians should be out of here. They've destroyed our country. And all they do is complain, complain, complain. You have her. She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with... go back to your own country and figure out your Constitution.
How do you see this one, Lauren?
I mean, there's no way to excuse the language. I can't tie myself in knots and gymnastics and figure that out. There's no way to do it since 2015. But Trump has said these kinds of things for a very long time. And by and large, it has not cost him politically because people care more about the policies, Chris would say they're failing policies, than they do about what he says about people. And so while I think it's abhorrent and I don't think there's a place for it in national politics, I think Democrats often fall in the trap of saying, okay, this is the thing. He's called this other person, this other group garbage, and this is going to be the thing. And it never is, because there's so much news and he's prone to these types of outbursts. He just says that kind of stuff all the time.
Yeah, I said that to Joe Khalil, Chris, when he was reporting on it earlier, is that in the middle of everything else, you have a president of the United States. Sometimes you do have to stop and hit the pause button and say, you know, he's calling the people garbage, and that, okay, and now we're on to the next story. Thoughts?
It's disgusting, and when Hillary Clinton called, you know, his supporters a basket of deplorables, we talked about it for 6 months. The reason why we're not talking about this for 6 months is he does another outrageous thing 5 minutes later. And it's all starting to add up. It's why his numbers are dropping. It's why Republicans in Congress are getting afraid. And actually, they're getting backbones and starting to stand up to him on some things. It's why we're going to wind up seeing Pete Hegseth resign before the end of the year, by the way. Mark it down, okay? It is, to me, ridiculous that a president of the United States will talk about this. And let me just send this message to him, because I know he watches your show, because it's the best news show on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Mr. President, this is her country. She is an American citizen. She got elected by constituents in the United States of America who are also your constituents that made her her congressman. And if you don't want her in Congress, you should make policies that her constituents are going to accept so that they vote for your candidate of choice.
Right.
I'm not crazy about her either, but she wins.
Chris Hahn, Lauren Wright, we thank you both. Got to keep this fine program moving, however.